Sometimes life surprises us in ways that are truly hard to believe. These moments often test our humanity and our ability to make the right choices. Timothy Davis is an ordinary 13-year-old boy who enjoys hiking with his family. They live in Rushmore, a town nestled in the Black Hills. The Davis know the local nature well and frequently embark on hikes throughout the area. One day, the family decided to venture to a forest area located 100 kilometers from home. The Davis arrived safely and set up camp. The next morning, the entire family went out to collect mushrooms, which their mother intended to use for a delicious lunch. Timothy was thrilled by the task, eager to find as many mushrooms as he could, a subject he knew well. However, in his quest, he wandered far from the camp without even realizing it. Timothy felt the surge of fear as he realized he was lost in an unfamiliar place, far from home and in danger. He started to find his way back to the campsite and was surprised to come across an abandoned car along the way. He hadn't seen this vehicle before, and it looked quite old. Curious, Timothy climbed inside to examine it, but just then he heard his father's voice. Jeffrey had been searching for his son, who had been missing for a few hours. Filled with relief, Timothy ran to his father and hugged him tightly before stepping back to show him his discovery. The car really surprised Jeffrey, who couldn't understand how it could have ended up in such a remote area. Timothy and Jeffrey began to explore the car, and they soon discovered something very interesting. In the glove compartment, they found a large box with a note that read, "If you find this box, take it to the address provided and give it to Rachel." Below was the date, 5th December 1999, and a nearby town was listed, just a few kilometers from the forest. Timothy and Jeffrey decided to fulfill the request, but first, they had to open the box. It had a tricky lock that took a few minutes to figure out, but father and son eventually managed to open it. Inside, they found gold. Yes, the box contained real treasure, hidden in an abandoned car in the woods. There were also several photographs of people in military uniforms. The next morning, the family decided to visit the address indicated on the box. They found themselves at the entrance of a simple American house on the outskirts of a small town. An elderly lady responded to their knock. Jeffrey asked if she knew who Rachel was. "That's me," the old lady replied. Jeffrey handed her the box. At first, she didn't understand what was happening, but when she read the note and saw the photographs, she immediately burst into tears. The story behind the box of gold was incredible. The old woman, whose name was Rachel, began to explain through her tears. Her husband's grandfather, Gregory, had decided to leave an inheritance for his grandson, Gary. He collected gold bars and buried them in the forest because he didn't want Gary's father, Frank, to find the treasure. Gregory had arranged for his lawyer to tell Gary where the treasure was hidden after his death. But Gary didn't want to wait that long, so he decided to find the buried gold himself. He armed himself with a metal detector and went into the forest, but he never returned from that trip. Gary's body was found in a snowdrift near the road. He had frozen to death. For over 20 years, Gary's wife had never found out what happened to him. Now, she realized that he had likely gotten lost or run out of gas. Gary must have left the car to look for help and froze to death. Rachel wasn't interested in the gold. For her, the most important thing was finally learning what had happened to her husband. She tenderly clutched the photographs of her husband that had been in the box. Rachel had been haunted by her husband's death for many years, and now she finally understood what had happened, which was very important to her. Rachel refused to keep the gold, instead offering it to the family who had discovered the treasure. Jeffrey was hesitant to accept such a generous gift at first, but ultimately, the old woman insisted. She simply asked that the gold be used for a good cause to help someone in need. As the family drove home in silence, each member grappled with the significance of what had just transpired. Finally, the head of the family spoke up. Jeffrey proposed using the proceeds from the sale of the gold to renovate Rachel's old house and donating the remainder to charity. He explained that the wealth they had discovered had caused much suffering, so it should be put to good use. The entire family agreed with Jeffrey, and within a couple of weeks, he returned to the old lady's house to start the renovations. This was the beginning of a strong friendship between Rachel and the Davis family. They exchange gifts during the holidays and enjoy leisurely conversations about life together. Money doesn't always bring happiness. It isn't a cure-all for life's challenges. Who knows what might have happened to the Davis family if they had chosen to keep the gold for themselves? Instead, Rachel received a lovely renovation, while Timothy learned a valuable lesson about how to treat both money and people, a lesson that holds great significance in this world. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.